The Taoiseach's visit to President Trump at the White House was dominated by the war in Iran. In a sometimes raucous encounter with the assembled press, Donald Trump was highly critical of NATO and even Europe for their lack of support in relation to Iran. While the focus was primarily on the president, the Taoiseach countered Donald Trump's assertions on Europe, immigration and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. On the war in Iran, he said a peaceful resolution would need to be found.
A tradition that gives Ireland access few other nations can match.
It's an honour to have you, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
And may I thank you, President, for facilitating this visit.
For all the uncertainty, it passed without incident. As expected, it was mostly dominated by the war in Iran. While the Taoiseach wasn't criticised, the US President took aim at Ireland's neighbour.
Well, he hasn't been supportive, and I think it's a big mistake, They make a lot of money on trade with the United States. And, unfortunately, Keir is not Winston Churchill.
Then came Micheál Martin's first interjection.
Just could I
Hold it.
just make a number of points? Keir Starmer has done a lot to reset the Irish-British relationship. I just want to put that on the record. But I do believe that he's a very earnest, sound person who I think you have a capacity to get on with. You've got on with him before. And you've got on with other European leaders as well.
Life in Europe was brought up.
Europe is a different place. It's a different place. And, I originate, to put it nicely, many of us do, from Europe. I love Europe. I've spent a lot of time in Europe. It's a different place. Bad things have happened here. Very bad things. And you better do something about immigration.
And the Taoiseach wanted to set the record straight.
So first of all, I would say Europe is still a very good place to live in.
Good.
A lot just to let you know.
I'm glad to hear it.
And our view is you have to have robust and fair rules around migration. I think sometimes Europe gets characterised wrongly in terms of it being overrun or whatever like that. It's much more robust now. It's much more stronger mechanism in place to facilitate legal migration.
While today may mark the end of a 4-day visit for the Taoiseach in the US, it looks like there will be another high-profile encounter soon.
Are you going to visit Ireland in September and will you stay at Tuesday?
Well, I'm having, it's a great thing, my son and my family. We have a great golf complex in Ireland, one of the best in the world, called Doonbeg. It's in Doonbeg. And it was chosen for the Irish Open, which is a big deal. That's a big event.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
Everybody wants me to be there. You just said, I hope you're going to go.
I did.
And we're going to try.
Let's have a quick word now with Jackie Fox, our Washington correspondent. She joins us from the White House. And our reporter Aisling Kenny is also here beside me. But Jackie, to you first. Is it fair to say a more assertive Taoiseach than last year? It wasn't easy, but he did manage to elbow his way in. And he did counter a number of those key points made by President Trump there.
That's right. There were no tense moments or major challenges for the Taoiseach Micheál Martin in that Oval Office meeting. The role that he wanted to play, it seems, of this bridge between the United States and Europe, and that's something that he wanted to take seriously, especially when Donald Trump started criticising the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, saying that he was no Winston Churchill. We had this extraordinary moment in the Oval Office of an Irish Taoiseach in the Oval Office with the US President Donald Trump defending a British Prime Minister. That was a strategy he clearly went in with. He also had another strategy of defending Europe, saying that it wasn't overrun with migration, that it in fact was a good place to live. Overall, I think Micheál Martin will be breathing a sigh of relief after this meeting. He will say that he stood his ground, that he didn't stay silent. But the day isn't over yet, Sharon. The two men are on Capitol Hill at the moment having lunch with members of Congress, and then they're due back here at the White House for that traditional shamrock ceremony later this evening.
And we saw, didn't we, Jackie, there time and time again, the President very keen to steer the conversation back to NATO failures as he would perceive them, and Europe too. He's clearly still very sore about his lack of allies in this war against Iran.
Absolutely. As we expected, Iran dominated the conversation in the Oval Office. We were expecting that, and moments before we went into the meeting, Donald Trump posted on his social media platform, Truth Social, blasting NATO, and that was something that he repeated when he was in the Oval Office with Taoiseach Micheál Martin. But it was familiar talking points otherwise that the United States was successful with its Operation Epic Fury and that the war will be over soon.
Very good, Jackie. Thank you. Aisling Kenny here beside me. It was always going to be a high wire act for the Taoiseach, wasn't it? Balancing domestic interests with opposition demands. What's the verdict?
That's right, Sharon. Well, the Taoiseach was walking, as you heard Jackie say, a diplomatic tightrope in the Oval Office today. Micheál Martin had to find that delicate balance between maintaining trade relationships and good relationships with the US and also managing calls from the opposition to call Donald Trump out on the war in Iran. Now, he didn't call him out directly, but he did say that Ireland wanted a peaceful resolution to the war. Now, there has been opposition reaction this evening. The leader of the Social Democrats, Holly Curran, said the Taoiseach had remained almost mute during that meeting. She said that he had failed to challenge Donald Trump on what she said was an illegal war in Iran. She said any invitation or formal invitation to the Taoiseach to Ireland was not a good idea, and she said the red carpet should not be rolled out for him. The People Before Profit TD, Richard Boyd Barrett, had said it was shameful and embarrassing that the Taoiseach didn't call Donald Trump out more on the war in Iran. Now, opposition parties had called for the Taoiseach not to meet with Donald Trump this year at all, but the government at pains to point out that this relationship with the United States and Ireland is extremely important. Very few countries get that opportunity to meet with the US on an annual basis.
All right, Aisling, thank you. Israeli authorities claim overnight strikes on Iran have claimed the life of Ali Larijani, the country's security chief. In Washington, the head of the National Counter-Terrorism Centre resigned. He said he couldn't in good conscience support this war. Joe Kent said Iran posed no imminent threat.
Families joined rescue workers, picking their way through the wreckage of a Tehran building as US and Israeli strikes on Iran continue. It was an overnight strike like this, which the Israeli army says killed Iran's most senior security official. Ali Larijani, seen here in Tehran last Friday, has been one of the most powerful figures in Iran since the death of Ayatollah Khamenei in the first days of the war. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu lauded the operation that killed Larijani and said there were many more surprises ahead. One surprise this afternoon, the resignation of the head of the US National Counter-Terrorism Centre.
In the Republican Party.
Joseph Kent blamed Israel for pressuring the US into war, saying Iran had not posed an immediate threat to the United States and that he could not, in good conscience, support the conflict. Amid global fears that ending this war may be far harder than starting it, humanitarian agencies were sounding the alarm about its profound effects.
Our supply chains may really be on the brink of the most severe disruption since COVID and the Ukraine war back in 2022. Our shipments of life-saving food are being affected by the squeeze on trade. It is taking us longer to deliver by sea, and our costs have increased.
A regional war whose worldwide impact expands by the day. Fiona Mitchell, RTE News.